Harry's Garage video, and I am particularly excited today because I am back at Prestige Refinishing, who have had my Ferrari Testarossa since January this year. Today is collection day. Sam is in there, and this is going to be the first time I've seen this Testarossa finished, polished. All sorts of things have been happening. The engine has been out as well. I've had the cam covers done, cam belts, all sorts of things. So, no further ado, I'm going through that door and see what it looks like. First time I've seen it, and this is it, isn't it? Oh, this is lovely. That never did that. That never lined up.
No, it did it at the front.
Was it a complete peg, do you think?
It was quite difficult actually.
Yeah.
Really framework on the front, pull it, you pulled it all about.
Yeah.
Next we ended up taking the whole front off, as you saw in the photos. Redoing it.
And you've done so much more, haven't you? Because you've done all the black.
Yeah, we painted obviously the whole front end. Redid the lower part of the bumper, because that was a bit messy. And if you remember, it had like a stone chip finish rather than the flat.
And that's
satin sheets. That should be, yeah.
It's like that.
And then obviously we then put the seals on a match.
Right.
We then ended up doing the seals to match, so they're perfect because they had some damage on as well. So we did that as well. So.
And there's been a little bit of Sahara damage, wasn't there?
Yeah, a little bit
area as well.
Yeah, covered in red sand.
Yes, all inside. I don't think you'll get many Testarossas that have been to Sahara, so I think it's a...
No, I don't think there's that many.
No, a friend took out his Ferrari 360 actually, to the same place. I met him out in Morocco when we were on that bike thing, but yeah, that one.
And he had a feather up.
I think he did alright. I think he got slightly concerned how off-road it was going to be and stuff, and put snatch things on it, but he didn't go quite as deep into the dunes as we did in this one. But yeah, he learned from me, I suppose. Yeah, that wasn't sensible. He was doing more of the roads in Morocco, right, actually sand. But yeah, and then my little hammer mark here is magically disappeared. That was just about here, and I swore like a trooper, and you can't see it. But this is what it never did. This never lined up before, and it's just that looks terrific. They are a mad car. Because you didn't have to touch these, did you?
No, you didn't have to take your fins out on this. But yeah, they are a bit awkward when you take these apart. They've got a couple of bolts on the bottom, and they've got a wire rod that you have to feed through each and every one of them, and then they've got bolts at the front. So a bit tricky to come off.
Right.
Get long-winded, but yeah, not too bad.
It's amazing colour. I do like this red. You were saying
it's 312.
312 is its number. And then round here,
I couldn't just leave the front, so we did actually quickly go over the rest of the body and polish that up. Obviously, bring it back, a bit of paint correction on it, so it's got a nice shine to it now. We didn't spend too much time on it, didn't need that much, but
no. It all lines up here as well, because it was slightly this way.
Yeah, it didn't fit properly at the back when we got it, so that's been adjusted, so it all fits nice.
And there
you go, I'll put in a couple of clips on that.
Yes,
that was hanging off.
That was hanging off. That was sort of going to lose it one day. So the actual bits you painted was the front wings forward, is it?
Painted from the doors forward. I've done a little bit of airbrushing on the front of the near side door, because obviously that was rubbing the wing. So that's done. Obviously we painted the seals, repaired and painted them. And there you had a few little chips over it which we just touched in just to and that's about it really.
Right, I'll tell you what, I haven't seen the engine actually. Can I
just pop that?
Oh, new struts as well. You never used to do
new struts,
that.
That's
There they are at the side. Oh, that's so much better. Why do they go? I wonder why they go. It's just the oil reacts with them or something, isn't it? But
yeah, they don't etch primer on, so once the water gets underneath the powder coated, it comes off.
And it's crackle finish, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And that's the right red, isn't it? Sometimes you see them too red, don't they?
I mean, they do. You can get it in a spray can, but that doesn't go hard. It's not the right colour. It's pretty appalling, really. The only way to do it is powder coated.
Yeah.
So it's over blast them, clean them
say just thanks to Foster's Ferrari at this point, who did the cam change on it, because it's one of the things you have to do on this is obviously the belt change.
Yeah.
But everybody gets, oh my god, the engine's out, but it's designed to come out, isn't it?
It is,
you have to
do a good job
do
on that.
it, because you've got obviously the cam belts on that end, and you've got no access to them. So that's why the engine comes out, I think. But it's something you have to do. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 years, every 4 years. So what I'm going to do is take it home and do a shot of it outside, because it really pops this colour, doesn't it?
It does, I think actually 312 is the best colour on Ferrari, I think, personally, It's a little bit richer, a bit redder than the normal reds, like 322, which is on the 360 and the 430s.
Didn't know that, but I know it's been a long time, and I'm hugely grateful to Adrian. Basically, you've been doing this in your spare time, haven't you? It's not been, it's not the reason of taking this long. I said there's no panic to get it done, but I'm so chuffed the way it will be.
He's doing it in between jobs, lining the front up and bits and bolts, which he'd done, and then I just took over. We did the paintwork on it, and then Adrian bolted it all back together, and then we couldn't finish it off.
And he's wax sealed it, and all that.
Wax and
I'll go and take it on a crazy trip again. But Sam, thanks so much for doing this.
That's
quite fabulous. Can't wait. I'm going to bung it on the trailer now, take it home, and then take it for a drive. And you'll join me then, and you can hear this car sing again. Well, I've done a few miles now, and the Testarossa is picking it up. A couple of days ago, had it MOT'd as well, and it's fantastic to have it back in the garage. One thing they also did, Fosca's, when they took the engine out, the starter motor was playing up. It was one of those cars that would always start cold, and then you'd fill up with fuel and it was hot, and you'd do the start and say, oh no, not now. And sometimes I used to knock it with a hammer, and then that would get it going. And long story short, I just found I started not using the Testarossa because he thought, oh, I can't, I might have that hot start problem again. I don't really want to suffer that. I'll take one of those. And I was sort of missing the Testarossa because it's a good car to have in the garage. So I'm going to start it up, because today is very hot. It's unusually warm in the UK at the moment, sort of 30 degrees, that sort of temperature. And the one really good thing with the Testarossa, it has very good air conditioning. Unfortunately, it's got a very fan, and you probably hear that. It's probably too noisy for the microphone, but it's super cool. But also just to have the sound of the Testarossa back in the garage, as well as the driving experience. It is a very distinctive engine sound with it. And you've got to remember, it's a 4.9 litre, they describe it as, near 5 litre engine, flat 12. Maybe the purists say, it's not a flat 12, it's a 180 degree V12, but a very characterful engine anyway. It's like no other engine. It's a bit like, think of Subaru Impreza, that flat 4 gave it a very distinctive character, and that's the same with the Testarossa with that engine. And it just sounds fantastic. And the other weirdness is you don't really have to rev it out. There's a lot of torque at 4,500 RPM, something like that. I think its peak torque 360 pounds or thereabouts, near 400 horsepower. But the red line is at 6,800 revs. It's not as high as you think it's going to be. Anyway, I'm going to come out of here and you'll get the first sense of what this car is like. Just over 6,000 RPM, not revving it that hard at all. And I was shocked when I went back through the catalogue of videos I've done. I haven't actually had the Testarossa sound or been driven on the channel since 2016, 7 years ago. It's just ridiculous. So I thought, I definitely need to do a drive in it again, just so you can hear it as well. What else about it? It's easy. It's very interesting, having just got the Countach back and getting back into the Testarossa. there's something very easy with the Testarossa compared to the Countach. You think they're deadly rivals. They couldn't be more different. Testarossa just makes things easy. Great visibility out, beautiful steering. It's not powered steering, there's still 225s in the front, never feels heavy, the steering, and just full of sensations. Always chattering away, and never has that, oh, this is so heavy feel of the Countach. So that's a nice touch as well. Again, inside, there's space everywhere. And also, even though it's really hot today, the temperature will never go over midway on the temperature gauge, which is 195 degrees F in the ye old standard, but generally runs between the other, don't know what it is, 160, 180. It just stays there. It is impervious to high temperatures. This is a car you could take to the Sahara and you'd be fine. I sort of know that anyway. What I think I ought to do now is just add some clips we've recorded today of this car going up and down the road, just so you can get a sense of that sound that Testarossa makes from its flat 12. It's a majestic sound. It's not a racy sound, it's not a harsh sound. It's so different to Ferrari of today, completely different. It's a bellow. And the other weirdness about it, it rolls, it just feels very honest from where I'm sitting. It's pointy, it's quite enjoyable to take it down a British B road, which you don't expect. It's not fast. I don't know what the performance is. I think it's about 11 seconds to 100, which is ridiculous me saying it's not fast, but in the great scheme of things, it's not like the Countach that very definitely feels racer. This doesn't have that feel about it. It's just, yeah, it's a GT, and I've proven out the miles. So I'm really pleased to have it back in the garage. The other nice thing, since it's been back, feels sharp on the throttle than it used to before. And Foskers, when they were doing the rebuild, discovered that one of the inlet cams was one tooth out. And he says, I think this will perform better, and it definitely does. So that was a nice surprise as well. I wasn't expecting to have a quicker Testarossa come back. Let's put it through these beds. Yeah, feel the roll. Yeah, almost on the bump stops. I've also weighed it. It's 1,620 kilos, so she's a big old girl. This Countach by comparison 1,500 kilos, 120 kilos heavier Testarossa. And it just, the positive of that, you actually get to enjoy the gear more because it's pushing it, that wonderful engine is pushing against that mass, and you just hear the sound. Never feels harsh. And you find yourself changing up at 4,000 or 5,000 RPM. I'm at 2,500 RPM now, and you still get that richness of sound. And I just love the way I don't have to chase the revs to enjoy the engine. I'm going to just enjoy it at any revs. Last year, poor thing, sat around. It was a very expensive year of all those rebuilds going on. I've taken my time getting the Testarossa back in the garage, but we've got some fun plans what we're going to do with the car now it's back and in rude health. So if you keep watching the channel, you'll see some very interesting videos coming along. So there you go, there's an update on the Ferrari Testarossa. Big thanks to Adrian and Sam and their wonderful skills down at Prestige Refinishing. I love their attention to detail. It now looks as good as it goes, and I love the way that it's all lined up. I'm particularly proud of this car. So yeah, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming along very soon.